Avoiding unsafe situations using effective communication techniques. Objectives: recognize communication danger signs, take steps to prevent escalation, apply skills to communicate effectively in tense situations. Basic communication is the process of exchanging facts or ideas between persons. It's dynamic, not static, and can be affected by many variables: environment, tone, approach, clarity, and style. Instances where communications can become tense: staff and family conflicts, conflicts within families such as separation, divorce, financial, and other stresses on families. Safety first. If a person is becoming agitated, ask yourself if you feel you're in physical danger. If yes, it's time to implement the crisis plan. Assume the worst. Isolate, call for help, call 911, escape route, and exit. So if no, use de-escalation techniques. Check out yourself, check out the environment, work on nonverbal communication and verbal de-escalation. Risk factors for violence: past history of violence, suicidal tendencies, medication compliance or changes, substance abuse, patterns, triggers such as divorce, and demographic factors. How do you know when you are being personally or physically threatened? You will know it when it happens to you. You will feel it and trust your instincts. Warning signs: the person's emotions are escalating. They may be using words to put you down or invalidate you. They may not respond to you at all, or they may repeat back what you say in a negative way, not the way you meant it. Verbal de-escalation. Some tactics are simply listening, distracting the other person, refocusing the other person on something positive, changing the subject, using humor but be careful, motivating the other person, empathizing with the other person, giving choices, and setting limits. De-escalation techniques. Remember, the intent is to calmly bring down the level of anger to a safer place. Do not get loud or try to yell over a screaming person. Wait until the individual takes a breath, then talk. Speak calmly with an average volume. So respond selectively. Answer all informational questions, no matter how rudely asked. Do not answer abusive questions. Explain limits and rules in a firm but respectful tone. Give choices where possible in which both alternatives are safe ones. Empathize with feelings but not with behavior. Do not argue or try to convince. Suggest alternative behaviors where appropriate. De-escalating effectively. To verbally de-escalate another person, you must open as many clear lines of communication as possible. Both you and the other person must listen to each other and have no barriers. Barriers to communication are the things that keep the meaning of what is being said from being heard. Communication barriers: prejudging, not listening, criticizing, name-calling, engaging in a power struggle, ordering, threatening, minimizing, or arguing. De-escalating positively. Use positive and helpful statements such as, "I want to help you. Please tell me more so I may better understand how to help you. Let's call Mr. Smith," another staff. Be an empathetic listener. Do not be judgmental. Do not ignore the person or pretend to be paying attention. Listen to what they are really saying. Restate the message, clarify the message, repeat the message. Be empathetic, validate, say things like "I understand why," and try to establish a rapport. Body language. Finger pointing may seem accusing. Shoulders shrugging may seem uncaring or unknowing. Rigid walking may seem unyielding. Jaws set with clenched teeth may seem not open. A natural smile is good, a fake one can agitate. Use slow and deliberate movements. Personal space. Invasion or encroachment of personal space tends to heighten or escalate anxiety. Personal space is usually 1.5 to 3 feet. Far enough away so you cannot be hit or kicked. Do not touch a hostile person and keep your hand visible at all times. Use of your voice. Watch your tone, volume, rate of speech, and inflection of voice. Tone of your voice. A lower voice level may set a tone of anger which could create fear or challenges. A raised voice may set a tone of anticipation or uncertainty which may promote excitement or disruption. Speak slowly. This is usually interpreted as soothing. A controlled voice is one of common firmness that promotes confidence in both parties. Use humor sparingly. Always be respectful of the other person. Use please and thank you, Mr. and Mrs. to indicate respect. Tips: remain calm. Listen, really listen. Avoid overreaction. Validate the other person. Remove onlookers. Watch for nonverbal clues or threats. Bring another person in to assist when possible. There is less of a chance of aggression with 2 or more people. Ask for help. Alert someone when possible. 2 heads are better than 1. There are safety in numbers, and it will be beneficial to have a witness if the situation deteriorates and someone is injured. Things not to do. Avoid becoming emotionally involved, engaging in a power struggle, becoming rigid in your response, telling the other person you know how he or she feels, raising your voice. Avoid aggressive language and do not attempt to intimidate a hostile person. Good communication. I statements versus you always statements. Paraphrasing. Perception checking. Avoiding negative reciprocity. And validate. I don't blame you for feeling that way. I understand that. So practice these skills in daily encounters which are not threatening. Model good communication skills and conflict resolution for the children. What should I do if there's an intruder? Many people don't want to think about the possibility, but the best time to think about it is before it happens. How do I respond? This depends on your particular situation. The best way to respond will depend on where you are, how close the intruder is, and whether they know you're there. Leave if you can. If possible, evacuate. If you cannot leave, hide. Retreat to a room or closet that has a locking door from the inside. Barricade the door and call 911. If you don't have a cell phone, then wait quietly for the intruder to leave. Create a safe room in the building and make sure all know where it is and all know that it locks from within. If intruder confronts you, try to remain calm and raise your hands to shoulder height and have the children do the same. So be prepared with a plan. If you can hear or know something is happening, choose an exit for each of the possible intruder points of entry and make sure that you know all the exits in the building beforehand.